Greetings, everyone. Travis here, another day in the arena, here at Tpull's Corner. And I have been trying to sort of tweak this deck. I had to tweak it because there was a banning and they banned Screaming Nemesis. So, let's see, what do we got? Green and blue. Let's put down Voice of Victory to start with. And then we can put down Delny. And Delny has this nice little thing to activate triggers, and they give up. I'm not sure how earned that was because I just lost 3 battles in a row. So I was kind of due. Arena does not like this deck. I had to change it up a little bit. I only had 1 copy originally of Screaming Nemesis, but I recently crafted with some mythic rare wild cards. I crafted 4 copies and it was in here. I'll try and tell you if I can remember which cards I switched out. But it's called Cant 2025, and this is a themed deck. I visit this theme about once a year, just taking sort of an inventory of all of the cards in the current meta that allow us to restrict what the opponent can do. And just say, normally you can do this, you know, it's a normal part of the abilities and rules of the game, but we're going to say you can't do that as soon as we get this. I've got a decent amount of interaction and removal, starting with Grim Bauble. When it enters target creature and opponent controls, gets -2/-2 till end of turn, and then we can sacrifice it later to surveil for 2. I've got 2 cards of Trial by Agony. A card you don't see that often. You choose 2 target creatures controlled by the same opponent. They get to choose what happens to them. One takes 5 damage and the other can't block for the turn. 1 Slice from Shadows. Here the spell can't be countered. Target creature gets -X/-X till end of turn. This one replaced one of the Screaming Nemesis. Torch Witness deals twice X damage target creature. If we deal excess damage, we get a token clue that we can then sacrifice for 2 and draw a card. Cooped Up fits in well with, you know, what you can't do, right? Enchanted creature can't attack or block. We save these for creatures that have some sort of pestering activity or ability that we want to spend 3 mana later and exile them from the game entirely. High Noon. Each player can't cast more than 1 spell each turn. If we're ready, we can sacrifice this for 5 and have it deal 5 damage to any target. Similar to Cooped Up, Pacifism can't attack or block, and Petrify can't attack or block. Plus this one, its activated abilities can't be activated. 3 copies of Voice of Victory. It has Mobilize 2, so you can create the warriors that attack, but for fitting in with this theme, your opponent can't cast spells during your turn. Blue doesn't like that. That may be why the last opponent just scooped. 1 Long Goodbye, another removal spell that can't be countered. Destroy target creature or planeswalker with mana value 3 or less. So I think this is the only thing directly we have against planeswalkers. Here's one that replaced Screaming Nemesis. Kraza, the Swarm is 1. This is from Through the Omen Pass. A 2/1 legendary spider human hero. With Riot, I can bring it in and give it either haste or a +1/+1 counter. And then spells and abilities can't be countered. This is for like the entire field. I think that's for opponent and me as well. And damage cannot be prevented. A card you don't see that often, Untimely Malfunction. This is from Duskmourn. We've got 3 choices here. We can only choose 1 at a time. Destroy target artifact. Change the target of target spell or ability with single target. Or 1 or 2 target creatures can't block this turn. So depending on what's going on, I mean, I feel good that I don't normally have things that destroy artifacts that much. Let alone 4 in a single deck. So I feel good against going up against artifact spells normally, or artifact decks. We just saw Delny. Creatures you control with power 2 or less can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. And then if ability of a creature controlled with power 2 or less triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. This one replaced 1 Screaming Nemesis. Giant Cindermaw, 4/3 trample. Players can't gain life. Zurgle, Thunder's Decree. A 2/4 creature with Mobilize 2. During your end step, where tokens you control have this token can't be sacrificed. Archangel Ties, I have 2 copies. 3/5 Angel with Flying. As long as this creature's untapped, creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 mana for each of those creatures at once. As long as this creature is attacking, creatures can't block unless they also pay 1 for each creature they want to defend against an attack. Inevitable defeat. This spell can't be countered. You exile target non-land permanent. Its controller loses 3 life, and you gain 3 life. Unstable Glyph Bridge. When it enters, you get to choose a creature with power 2 or less that player controls. That's for you and them. Then you destroy all the other creatures. When we craft it for an artifact, it turns into this Sand Swirl Wanderglyph you see to the right. It's a 5/3 golem with flying. Whenever an opponent casts a spell during their turn, they can't attack you or planeswalkers you control during the turn. Or if they attack you instead, they can't cast spells. So they got to commit to doing one thing or the other for that turn. 3 copies of Grievous Wound. You enchant the player, they can't gain life, and then whenever they're dealt damage, they lose half their life rounded up. And this one replaces the 4th copy of Screaming Nemesis Trickshot. 6 damage target creature, and 2 to one other target creature token. It's funny, there's so many tokens in the environment right now. Whenever this card comes up, there's no tokens out there for me to destroy. And finally, Chimmel, the Inner Sun. Spells you control can't be countered. And beginning of your end step, discover 5. So that you'll exile cards from the top of your library until you get a non-land spell that's mana value 5 or less, and then you get to cast it without paying any extra mana. In the cards here for land, we have 3 copies of Restless Fortress. So when the land attacks, we can have defending player lose 2 life and we gain 2 life. We've got 1 Raucous Theater to surveil. We've got 3 of the Nomad Outposts so they can have any one of the 3 colors. And 1 Demolition Field to get rid of their stuff. And 1 Edgewall Inn to choose a particular color if we're missing one. And 1 Pit of Offerings is the only graveyard hate we have. This is bad because I usually get it by turn 2 if it's not in my opening hand, and so I very rarely get to exile more than 1 card with that land. It would be nice if Arena could, every once in a while, like give it to us later. Turn 3 at least would be good instead of turn 1 or 2. It turns up in turn 1 or 2 a lot. But at least it's not in our opening hand this time. So this is an okay start, right? Because we have 3 different choices of cards we can cast on the second turn. And we can start restricting them. Let's start with High Noon. That way we still have other things we can do if we get land starved. We put Voice of Victory out first, and then we put Delny down. If this survives, then we're going to have a lot of attackers all of a sudden. Very similar to our last match. And if they want to do something, they have to do it now. They can't do it on our turn. And that's going to be 3 or greater, so this can't block. They don't know it, but it can't block. Ooh, and there's another one. Yeah, let's put Delny down now. Let's just go on the offensive. A lot of early damage. They were not going to be expecting that. And their Weary Thespian, since it's too high power, it can't block any of these. And they didn't want to give up their elf. Yeah, they're looking at Delny now. Maybe we want to stop them from gaining life. There's a power 2. How do we want to do this? I think we just attack again. I've already been defeated by one deck that has cards I think should have been banned but didn't. It was basically an Enduring Curiosity and Kaido deck. And of course that slaughtered me. So nice to know the cards that we thought were overpowered are just as overpowered without Veto and Proft and Screaming Nemesis in the way. They can only do one spell a turn. And so can we, but we're okay with that. Notice we only got one land the entire match so far. It's turn 5. One land in 5 turns, folks. The shuffler is fine. Doesn't matter. We don't need it. Hey, they finally got a blocker. Or do they? Trial of Agony. One takes 5 damage, the other can't block. That's what you call a finisher spell. And Voice of Victory coming in nicely for both of our victories. And the deck is living up to its name as we're just making sure the opponent cannot do what the stuff that they would normally expect to be able to do. Suddenly they realize, oh, I can't do that. And for a change, we're keeping pace with all the cheap creature decks. Even if they only give us 3 lands for the entire match. Well, we did get a 4th land, but we didn't need it at that point. Let's see, we do need some other stuff right now. Let's go ahead and get a red. I think we coop that up. I think we cooped up the wrong one. Let's save this for when it attacks. Let's see what else they want to do. Okay, now we get rid of it. And we're going to have to use 2 spells to get rid of it again, but this will let us draw a card later. That at least puts it in the graveyard. Hopefully they don't have a way to get it back out. Gross. I probably should have just discarded the 2 lands at that point. Let's go ahead and get rid of this thing now. We'll get my second swamp. And I think we just thin out our deck so we can draw some good stuff. I've got a plains if I need it, so let me go get another mountains. And at some point, we're going to get something other than land. Any day now. I need a spell that keeps him from gaining life at this point. Ah, look at that. Oh, we can resolve that. That doesn't work anymore for them. Then we put this up there. Then we play this, and we exile this puppy now. Oh, great, a way for me to get more land. So nice. Ah, shoot. If I knew Tpull was there, I wouldn't have done that. Oh, never mind. I guess all we're doing is getting land this time. We had one round where we got only one land. And now we got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 lands and maybe 6 spells. That's fair. Oh, they have Petrified too. What is that? A mirror match? Come on. I think that's too much. I think they got us. Yeah, the Phyrexian Arena gave them so much. I mean, this is kind of Commander's fault because these cards have been designed to give white card draw. And we just drew more land. Okay. Okay, one land starved, one land flooded. Thank you, Arena. We got those out of the way. Could we have a regular kind of match? The team of wizards that spies on my gameplay and actively sabotages my matches. At some point they get bored or they run out of coffee and they leave the room, and we'll get some regular land deal. Someday. My opponent's evil tuna can. It's interesting the way that people's brains works that they come up with some of these things sometimes. Evil tuna can. Do you think they ever change their name, or you think that's just it? On Magic the Gathering, that's just going to be what they're going to be forever. There's always going to be an evil tuna can on Arena. Should I get rid of that now? No. I'm going to save up and use this. The X spell you save up for something bigger if you can. The Grim Bauble can take care of this. And if the Grim Bauble can't take care of this, I'd rather save the Slice from Shadows. Let's see what they got here. Anything that can help them? Nope. Okay, that worked out nicely. Unfortunately, red has a lot of haste. I think we need a black source. And I'm okay with sacrificing this now to see what we got coming up. Yeah, I'll take both of those. We've already got one cooped up though, so if we play the tapped land, or maybe we'll have time to play Demolition Field and play Grievous Wound. Let's see if they tap out here. Another haste. Alright, I think I want Grievous Wound out now. I don't think they can kill us this turn. I'm okay with all of that. If they are holding on to a counterspell, it doesn't do them any good there. You know, this puppy, that if they do it right, it can't be blocked. I don't have to worry about it ever attacking at all. And if they have a bounce spell, I'd rather they waste it saving the Dazzler than anything that I might have. Alright, we got some time, so we'll do that. And watch them dig. Do you ever feel bad? They've got like 7 cards. They don't seem to be able to do anything right now. Gahal. And we are flooding out with land yet again. Let's see, what do we got? We got well, I won't turn away the lands. I don't think I want to give them all that extra energy on their first spell. So I think we exile that now too. If they put something else out bigger than power 2, we could just wipe it. Yeah. Is that worth a wipe? It is if all we're going to do is get land. Come on, Arena. That's 2 games in a row. Evil Tunican is getting the same type of land draw that I am, but they have extra stuff from other card draw. Oh ho ho. Okay. Well. Okay, let's do this. Let's just thin out my deck of the basic lands. Alright, they might have interaction they've been saving, but I literally have nothing else to do. Evidently my opponent has nothing else to do either. That was a nice hit. In one single turn I reversed the health totals. Maybe I'm not allowed to complain about the land draw when all they're doing is drawing land too. I feel like this is appropriate. The losing 2 life doesn't trigger Grievous Wound. I've got to hit them for the actual point of damage. But even if they had something to respond here, the 4-point total change in life is worth the risk. Now they'll be down to 2. The enchantment is attached to Evil Tunican. It's fun to watch a deck that has so many haste creatures in it and stuff slow down all of a sudden. Did they do another land too? Okay. I guess I can't complain about that. If I do this, I can just drain them and get 2 points of health back. And if they have a spell to stop it, I still have High Noon. All they had was a couple of shocks. If they kept hold of the shocks, they could have used both shocks on Restless Fortress. What have they been doing this whole time? Did they not understand how Grievous Wound works? How much am I still allowed to complain if it seems like the opponent got land flooded at the exact same rate as I did? It's still not really the most exciting game, is it? Okay, while they're taking their own sweet time, we will use haste. Three colors already. Technically 4, right? Command Bridge can give them any color. This could be a 5-color deck for all I know. Not the right color for me. I needed a black source. I become a white rabbit. Well, not me, but Kraza does. Okay, they saved. That spell saved them 2 points of damage. Is that worth it? Time will tell. Ugh. This is going to be a problem. They get to create a card every single turn. I guess we do this, or... Let's do this. They're going to just lose the 0/1 lizard, but this can't block, so I can still at least attack for this turn. Ugh. Maybe I should have put pacifism on them. That's a pretty good card to just give them a 0/1 creature every single turn. Alright, let's give them a choice, a harder choice. One dies, the other can't block. And we will do pacifism now. Remember, since Kraus is down, spells and abilities can't be countered. So they can't do nothing. They can't keep creating 0/1s. And if this transforms, I think they get out of the pacifism if they transform. It would have been nice to have that be a cooped up instead of a pacifism. In the meantime, these can block. Alright, let's try this first. I'm kind of trying to goad them to use any removal spells they have here so that Zergo will survive. But they have blue, but there's nothing they can do to counter any spells right now. If removal and a counter spell, they have enough energy. What did they do? Counter target spell. Okay, so they don't stop the spell, but they did a couple of points of damage to me. Was that worth their time? And is it worth their time to chump block, because that's more time that they don't have 4 wizards? Although this counts as one of the wizards, right? It's 4 or more, not 4 other wizards. So they're closer than I thought to being ready and done. They have 4. They have 4. Alert! Alert! Okay, good. I still think that was a mistake, but if they want to keep making that same mistake, that's fine. They're going to need to block all 3 attackers to prevent their life from shrinking. It'd be nice if they put an artifact out. Oh, actually, they really need to get rid of Zergo now. They... What? No, you didn't. They got rid of Cindermaw? Why would you get rid of Cindermaw? Ouch, that hurt. Maybe that's why. Okay, come on, Arena. This is mana value 3 or less. That's 4, so I can't do anything about that. Alright, let's try this. You guys can't block. Get rid of the flyer. They stalled just long enough. Life gain doesn't help them, but they still got me beat. Kind of a nice deck. I like that deck. And I have 4 copies of that cooped up spell so that I can exile stuff, but I just got the wrong paralyzed spell. See? And the Wizards team is back and they're spying on me and they're laughing. Grievous Wound keeps showing up. A little early. And this might be a standard deck, but that's a lot of extra cards they've got. We'll coop up the Pride Mate right away. They might have a Disenchant if they have 150 extra cards. Well, 100 extra cards anyway. Maybe they're defending against mill decks. Didn't get the right land. So, Pit of Offerings does nothing again. And I can't use my red spells yet. They only have 2 lands. And they're kicking my butt. Well, we get Delmy down. That can block the rabbits, right? Unless they have a spell. Okay, that just made it indestructible, though. It's not the worst thing that could happen. Okay, we'll take red. We're still on defense. And it's teasing me with a life gain deck that I'm never going to be able to stop from gaining life. Oh, look at that. Now they get their land right when they get the expensive cards. It's got to be creatures they control, so I can't change the target. I think that's going to be it for me. I think I'm doomed. But this is just another case of being land starved. Perfect. Look at that. Exactly the right number of lands, exactly the same as me, in a deck with 100 extra cards, and they managed to empty their entire hand, whereas I got dealt all my expensive cards up front. Thank you, Arena. Thank you, Wizards team, spying on the gameplay and laughing at me. Could I get a Can I get a hand where there's no land starvation and no land flooding? Because that's been most of this entire series. Just give me the illusion of skill. Give me the illusion that I have a choice of doing things. I got a creature down. Unbelievable. I'm getting land draw. I'm not going to know what to do with myself. They stay. Tokens can't be sacrificed. They're not missing a land drop. I'll cast Trailblazer. Okay. What color do we need? We need another white source, actually. They're taking so long to set up. That might be too long. I didn't attack with the fortress because I want to have a chance to alter the target of a spell if it becomes appropriate. They're set up to have card draw and to give their creatures trample, but they took 6 turns to get set up. Now, if they have a spell that can deal damage to my creature, I can make them choose a different target. Which will be vital to keeping me alive here. There we go. Now they get the card draw. Okay, you got 2 extra cards drawn there. Can you do anything with it at all? Oh, this is lovely. I don't even need to, I don't even need Delney, they can't block. I mean, we're going to pacify them anyway. Got a little slow there, didn't you, buddy? Yay! We drew lands and we cast spells. Thank you, Wizards team. The other side actually did pretty good. It's strange to be on the other side of things where I'm kind of the small, cheap, wimpy deck that's kind of flooding them just through the mobilize mechanic. Ghoul. I wonder if there's a Ghoul 1.0 or a Ghoul 2 or Ghoul 34 running around. How many ghouls do we have on Arena? They're thinking. Thinking. Regular number of cards. Let's try High Noon now. White traditionally has some spells that they use to get rid of artifacts and enchantments, so it might not last. Ties. I need at least 3 white sources. I can only put out small things. I've got enough time to control that. Well, this would let me bring down Zurgo 2 next turn if I want. First blood is mine. They got flash. Interesting. This is based on casting a second spell. They can't do that with High Noon. Let's get rid of their knight. Let's go ahead and put down the white source. So is it just a lot of removal that they have? We're about to find out. Opponent is not missing a land drop. Okay, removal it is. Ah, they choose to get rid of High Noon instead. Interesting. Do they go wide or start piling on counters? They go wide. Well, I don't like that. They're playing around with whether they're going to attack or not. If they're so keen on casting 2 spells, let's remove their ability to cast 2 spells. Let's get black mana source in here. Now we can cast Grievous Wound when it shows up. And we can afford both of these next turn. Although I am kind of worried about board wipes now. Ugh, they're spending so much time. Well, ghouls are technically undead, right? They've been killed once. So, maybe they're slow thinkers. Okay. Come on. This isn't that hard. It's the attack phase, and you have 2 attackers. Come on. Did they have to go to the bathroom as an emergency? What happened? Oh, I think this is going to be all the time that I have today, so I was kind of hoping for something more exciting for the final match. Rather than watching the blue roping. We have lands. We both got lands. We both have spells. Come on. Let's do stuff. This is why it's so hard to find a good match on Arena these days. When you finally get through with all the land starvation and all the land flooding, then the person doesn't want to play. All there's left to do is play with your pets. Although it's also possible they got disconnected. That's happened to me enough times. Come on, Ghoul. Show up. Show up. Show up. Ugh. Alright. That's probably going to be it. I wonder if they just left when they lost their Zenith, because they've just been sitting back and not casting any of their spells anyway. But yeah, I feel like the deck's decent. It does well. I mean, if we get lands and if we get a nice distribution so that we don't get just lands, but we get lands and we get spells, it's kind of like any other deck. It performs, but just the aspect of clamping down on what the opponent can and can't do. Okay, I've got to do one more. We've got to do one more match. We can't leave it on that. That was lame. The video is going to go long. Remember, if I have to sit through this, if you want to speed through the roping, you can always just click on the YouTube bar and skip ahead. That's a lot of what I do when I'm not recording. I feel bad sometimes because some of the matches that I have are actually really interesting when I'm not recording, but there's so much roping that goes on. Sometimes I just pull out my phone and play mobile games while I wait for the opponent to move. And so I'm not really set up to be doing recording at that particular moment. And here I was probably for this. I do need some color of some kind at some point. But if we can get one more and they have a special land, we can fix things. Ugh, we'll take care of the most expensive one. There we go. It's going to be that kind of deck, huh? I guess we get rid of the next expensive one. This might not be an exciting match for us, as opposed to them. And now it's like the arena itself wants to scoop. It wants to have all the blue lines show up and cause all these delays. Right, let's start things off. Hang on. Change the target. Just look, new target. Aha! We made good on a spell. I'm glad we finally got to show what we can do with that. Kind of small effect, but there's a difference between actually using a spell and just discarding it uselessly. And here we go again. I feel like we're holding on to stuff now in case they have more discard spells. But that may harm me later if I need to cast something else. Yeah, I do need more land now. Figures. Right when I throw away my land, that's when they give me the most expensive spell in the entire deck. Thank you, Arena. Nice little combo. Let's do a surveil ourselves. Yeah. Exactly the reverse order of the way I needed it. Of course. We got rid of a creature. Just everything is ouch, and everything is exactly the wrong type of lands, the wrong color, the entire way around. It was my fault. I was supposed to mulligan on the 2 colorless lands. I think we're toast. Yeah. We can't do enough against that. Alright, we're keeping going. We're going on. We're going long today. I have to make up for all the land flooding and all the land starvation. Okay, we've got a decent colors here. Up against 180 cards or so. Let's see how our land drawing does compared to theirs. They're already throwing away lands. They've already got better card draw than we do. They've already got a mythic rare Planeswalker on turn 3.
You like losing.
With a 187 card deck.
Let's surprise him.
Okay. Didn't quite get rid of him.
Who taught you such bad manners?
I want to save this for something else. We might not have a choice. We'll see. They don't have enough to create the ninja token now.
They'll
but they
never
do get to
see
dig
us
through their
coming.
deck. They don't have all the colors they need yet. And Restless Reef is not a normal card. Oh, they needed to fix their color mana. That's not normally a card you want to throw away. Do you put something on this? They don't? Okay, let's get rid of it then. Perfect. Alright, Planeswalker and creature eliminating. And we're drawing lands. Life is good. And now they can bring down the Riddler. Lots of card draw from them. Shoot, I did that wrong. I wanted to do Trick Shot. Okay, so we'll do it this way. It's another mistake. I should have put down the mountain so I could play the Trick Shot. But I can't exile this, so maybe this would still be good to use on something else later. That only gains in power. That's good. More card draw. It's a lot of card draw for them. Gonna exile this now while I can. Put down the tap land. And attack. Opponent does not miss a land drop. Can't be blocked, okay. Down to 10. Interesting how almost everything that they have does something to get something more out of their deck or gets them another card draw. They throw away Aetherize? Oh, that's a mistake. Aetherize could have saved them. What happens now? Connives. Okay. Still having to discard stuff, so... I mean, they've done really good in terms of choosing the cards they most want to keep. But this should be it, for the most part. We'll get them down to like, what, 2? And let's see what we got coming up. Oh, yeah, I don't think we need that. Well, who knows? I mean, technically we only need one more turn, so we shouldn't need the second card regardless. They don't usually have a way to get rid of 2 creatures unless they have a board wipe. They don't have a way to gain life either right now. They need to get rid of this enchantment first. And we don't care what they exile, whether it's from our graveyard or theirs. I'll never understand how you can be a human and a robot at the same time. I mean, Vision is a synthesoid over in Marvel Comics, but he's not really described as human. I really want to ask somebody in the company about that. Oh, do they got me? Do they have me? Look at that. They got rid of all the stuff that I wanted and they get to attack me again? That was like perfect for them. And maybe I played that wrong. Maybe I was supposed to put Grievous Wound out earlier? Good play. Ugh. Okay, I tried to go longer just so I could go out on a win, and instead I ended up losing 3 in a row. Well, it's a meme deck, and I lost 4 copies of Screaming Nemesis. So, I think it's definitely reduced effectiveness after that. I mean, if the card was considered that powerful enough that it should be banned, and I lost 4 copies. Yeah, I'm not sure if the deck's viable anymore. We lost a lot. I think if you wanted to tighten things up, you could still probably do something by having like just a much cheaper deck. You could get rid of some of this stuff up top maybe and just go with extra Delnies and 1/4 of Voice of Victory, and you'd probably have a tighter, more streamlined deck. I always want to try and get the bigger cards in. You know, in order to fit with the theme of Can't Be Countered, there's a lot of stuff up here. In order to get this idea that a spell can't be countered, they make you pay for it sometimes. So there's a lot of extra cost, and it forces you further up the mana curve. You can see that we're at 2.7, so overall we did pretty good on averaging the cost out. But we still ended up with a little bit of trouble with our mana base with the right color at the right time. And some of that was my fault, and it's possible that maybe I need to get rid of, a couple of the basics and maybe have more non-basic lands in here that can give me a greater variety of the right color at the right time. I'm not sure. I need 1 more copy of Nomad Outpost. I think I only have 3 right now. But anyway, I welcome your input onto suggestions that you would say on something that I should take out and maybe something else that I should put in. Something that we can do to improve this deck now that we can't use Screaming Nemesis anymore. I was time. Thank you, everybody. Come back next time for something